Howdy folks, Dave here at Thunder Mesa Studio, where we are just 1 week away from my deadline for finishing the On18 Bandit Canyon Railway. In a very short time, I'll be packing all of this up and heading out to California for our annual small layout get-together with friends. And as of this recording, there's just one more scene to add and some scenery to finish around the sides of the layout and a few other odds and ends, but I think I can get it all done. But there's a lot to do, so I better jump right in and get to work. Now, clearly, I still have a large area of scenery that needs to be built here below Robber's Roost to fill in all of this. But I figured out a way to speed things up a little bit using a big chunk of scenery that's being recycled from the old Thunder Mesa layout. Some of you who've been watching the channel for a while may remember when I built this. I'm talking about this ancient Native American cliff dwelling. This used to be down below the Hanging Rock area on the Thunder Mesa layout. I have a whole section of new ruins planned for the updated Thunder Mesa layout. They're going to be more extensive than this. So I thought it'd be perfect to reuse this model right here. So my plan is to fit it in right about there. I had to trim the original piece a little bit to get it to fit there, but it almost looks like it was made for it. So I need to build up some layers of rock down below here to support it, maybe a layer or two up here on the top, and then blend everything in together and paint it all to match. Let's test the fit. That's just about perfect. Okay, like a glove. But I don't want to mount that in there permanently yet because I need to do something about this tunnel right over here. Need to finish that off first. Remember, we have this tunnel down here. And this is a continuation of the road that comes down from hole in the wall, switches back through the canyon, comes through here, and then where does it go? Well, now the idea is that it goes through the butte here and then comes out through the Indian ruins on the other side. I think that'll be pretty cool. Don't really need to do that. I just need to make this look like it continues on. So here's what I came up with. A small section of tunnel carved out of foam that just curves around the corner and disappears. I just got done painting it. The paint is still wet, but it doesn't matter because I'm just going to glue it in place right back here behind the opening. I've added a 45-degree angle brace here out of some 2-inch foam, and then I've got some 3-inch drywall screws going all the way through it. So, you know, barring a major earthquake, shouldn't go anywhere. Line this up at the front. Now I'll drive these screws in to help hold it in place too. These are some 2-inch drywall screws. Drywall screws are incredibly handy for doing this kind of, you know, seat of the pants creative engineering with foam. Much more useful than pins because of the threads. They hold in the foam much better than pins do. It's not going anywhere. And from this side, looks like that. Another real time saver is that this already has LED lights installed, so all I need to do is hook the wires up here to the 9-volt DC wiring bus. Now, I can glue this in. Just applying some glue to the bottom because the rest of it's going to be held in with Sculptamold. I do all the blending here. Alright, I'll flick the power on. Oh yeah, that's the stuff right there. Now I can finish off the layers of foam over on this side. I'm just carving away some of this excess Sculptamold here. I used a lot more when I was doing the rock work on this than I have on the Bandit Canyon layout. So the challenge is going to be making this look like it's all of one piece, like it's always been there, making all of this match. So once again, I'll do the serious blending with Sculptamold on these larger gaps. And then after that's applied, I'll come back and do the smaller gaps between the foam with just some spackling compound. Now this edge over here needs a lot of help. The Sculptamold is starting to set up, but while it's still pliable, I'm going to take an old toothbrush and dampen it just a little bit and go over the surface to match up the strata lines coming off of the carved foam scenery. When it's all painted, it should look pretty good, like it all goes together. At least I hope so. This also gives me a chance to finally finish this secret escape tunnel out the back of Edda's place, though some people using it might be disappointed about where it ends up. Or maybe not. It might be just what they're looking for. And this piece of cardboard right here, this is actually going to be a retaining wall. Right here I'm building up sort of a ramp coming down, because this is where the trail comes out. It goes into the cave over there, goes through behind the ruins, comes out right here. At least that's the illusion I'm trying to create. So a little ramp coming down here onto this ledge where it just goes around and vanishes off into the fascia, parts unknown. All right, I think that's going to do it for the Sculptamold and the spackle. I'm going to let all of this dry overnight, come back tomorrow, get some paint on here, and see if we can't make this look like it's been here for 1,000 years. Now with the scenic painting done, I can come in and build this retaining wall. And I'm just using some, basically scraps of lumber left over from other projects. I saved all the little cutoffs and pieces when I'm building stuff. I have jars full of these. Coming really handy for things like this. These are some 8x8 timbers that I have. Cut them about a scale 5 feet long so I can have them, contour to this curve here. And just a little custom piece on each end. This is really my favorite way to build something like this. I love building stuff in place on the scenery. You get a much more, I think, natural, realistic look as it contours to the scenery. And to finish this off, I've got some rounds here of different diameter. Just like random logs that have been driven in to hold this up. Now sprinkle on some real rocks and dirt. Blend that in with the roadbed up here. Give a little spritz of wet water. And dribble on some diluted white glue. We've got some lighter color sand for the path coming out of the secret exit from Edda's place. While this is still wet, I have a structure that I want to add right here. Gotta have an outhouse, right? That's where the secret path leads to. I'll return some of the bushes I removed while I was working on the ruins here. Bushes are always greener around the outhouse. And then coming out of the ruins, I want to use that lighter colored soil once again to indicate the pathway, continuing down this way. And a few fallen rocks too to remind everybody this is dangerous. And finally, another board bridge across this narrow spot on the trail. Well, I think it's safe to take this masking off now. And while I wait for all of this to dry, I can show you all what I have planned for this part of the fascia here. Starting here at the corner, now these are some 1-inch wide birch planks. I found these on Amazon actually. They were sold as paint stir sticks, but they don't have the little dimple at the top. And you know, they're not all exactly uniform, so they're perfect for something like this. And I've stained them with the same shoe dye and rubbing alcohol mixture I use for, you know, all the weathered wood on the layout. So it should all match nicely. Now I just have to cut each one to size and glue it on. I'm cutting each of these pieces to size and to fit with my bandsaw. Some of them require custom cuts. I decided to do this kind of late in the game to add these slats here. So on this side, I'm having to cut it to match the contours of the scenery, and then I'm going to have to go back and blend that in a little bit. But on the rest of the layout, I'm going to add it first and then build the scenery on top of it, which is a much smarter thing to do, I think. I do believe that is the last piece of the fascia. Now I just need to finish all of these cliff sides, including a couple of necessary access panels. But you know, if you've been following this series for a while, by now you have seen me build an awful lot of canyon scenery, so I think this time we're just going to skip ahead. I'll snap my fingers, and through the magic of editing, it'll all be done when you come back. If only it were this quick and easy in real life. See? Nothing to it. Of course, I used all of the same scenery techniques that I've used across the entire layout. Sculpting the layers out of foam, blending them together with Sculpt-A-Mold and spackle, and then finishing everything off with acrylic paints. But this time I also needed to make some allowances for access. Like here, where the MP3 player for the shootout is hidden in this removable panel. And over here, where I needed to make a large section of the cliff wall removable so I could have access to the wiring, electronics, and the animation motors that are hidden inside. As you can see, I also did some work here on the base. I removed the metal clips that held this Jeep crate together because they didn't look particularly Old West to me. And then I replaced them with some 6 by 1 1/4 inch cabinet screws so I can still back those out and break this whole thing down flat if I need to. And then I painted the whole thing a dark forest green to complement the juniper trees and sandstone colors on the layout. And with that, I'd say the old Bandit Canyon Railway is about 98% done. So now it's time to add that final 2% and bring it across the finish line. One thing I think I absolutely have to finish are the stairs coming here from the Sundance mine. Many of you have pointed out that the stairs are not finished. Yes, I know. And some of you have been waiting patiently since I built the Sundance mine. Well, today your patience is going to pay off. Today, I finished the stairs. The stairs I'm going to be using, these are some laser cut parts. And these are actually from the old Crescent Creek Models gallows kit. I think these stairs have been sitting on my workbench here for about 6 months, at least. If you go back and watch some of the older Bandit Canyon videos or the other build videos, you'll see them over in the corner there, waiting to get built. So today's the day. It's going to feel good to get this done. I also need to build a little landing or platform up at the top of the stairs. The short stairs come down from the mine, and they're going to turn and go down. These, however, are not going to be connected to the mine structure. These are going to be connected to the cliff face. Whoops. And that way the mine can remain removable. And this is just some scribe stock and some 4x6 down here, and then I've got some 6x8 beams that this is going to sit on top of, and these are going to go into the foam of the cliff face. One of the things I really like about the foam scenery, other than the fact that it's lightweight and all that, is that it allows you to do things like this. You build right into it, just poke a couple of holes. A slight complication. Looks like I'm going to need to relocate this cactus because wouldn't you know it, I planted it right in the way. I'll have some timbers here for steps to bring the path around this way. I'll backfill there with some dirt and small rocks. Bring the path the rest of the way down here to trackside. Don't worry, I'm going to put in some railings. Okay. Just little chalks on there, and I think that'll do it for the stairs. I replanted the cactus over here. What else do we need to add? Well, one thing we definitely need is a track bumper right here. Keep any stray cars from heading off the edge of the world. I've decided to place this little dynamite shack right here. This was a gift. A visitor to the studio, fan of the show, came by, brought this. It's his version of the Big Thunder Dynamite Shack, and I thought it would work really nicely right there. And of course, where we have that shack, we have to have the goat, the famous dynamite chewing goat. This is not the one from the Thunder Mesa layout. This is a different goat, but it's the same model, I guess. This came in a bag of animals that I got at, can't remember exactly where. It might have been Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. Bag of farm animals. And the dynamite is just a piece of insulation off some wire, some 28 gauge wire, and a little piece of thread there for the fuse. One thing that many people have suggested that this layout needs is a coyote, and perhaps also a roadrunner. So I do have a coyote figure. This guy's from Mini Prints. I just finished painting him up. Perhaps like the raven up on the cliffs, he's patiently awaiting the outcome of the shootout over at Hole in the Wall. His name is not Wiley, by the way. You can call him Wiley if you want to, but his name is Fred the Coyote. And with that, I think I can honestly say that this layout is 100% done. But you know, there is just one more thing I'd like to add. Decided I want to have some nameplates for the railroad. Now don't be fooled, these are not brass. I actually laser etched this out of some 1/16 of an inch thick MDF and painted it to look like brass. And so, like everything else on the layout, it's done with a little bit of artifice and artistry, bit of a magic trick. And now, my friends, may I proudly present the On18 Bandit Canyon Railway. Wow, I can't believe it's actually done. Of course, you and I both know that a model railroad is never truly finished, never 100%. There's always a little bit more you can add, details here and there, maybe some rolling stock, who knows. But for now, we're going to call the Bandit Canyon Railway done. And I think I'm going to take the next couple of days off, maybe head out to Southern California, see some friends of mine, play with some trains, hang out, have a good time. And I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me here today and following along with the Bandit Canyon series and all of the projects that we work on here at Thunder Mesa Studio, from the Thunder Mesa Mining Company to Gruesome Gulch to the Goldfield in Calico. Got a lot more coming your way soon, so I hope you will stay tuned for that. If it's your first time here, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so YouTube will let you know when the next video is coming from Thunder Mesa Studio. And you can also follow us over on Instagram at thunder.mesa and see what's happening on the Thunder Mesa Studio website at thundermesa.studio. As always, a huge shout out and thank you to our Patreon members who help to make these videos possible. Until next time, keep moving forward, my friends. Adios for now.